I stole some of my grandma's weed about a year ago. This was a year back, I'm 15 now. I don't even really smoke weed because I think it's wrong for me to smoke. When I'm old enough maybe, but for now I'm good. But my grandma has medical marijuana for some arthritis in her back and fingers. I was bored and didn't know what to do, and since she just kept it in a jar on the shelf, I waited until no one was in the kitchen and stole a little bit. I instantly felt terrible and thought about putting it back. I hate stealing as I've gotten stuff stolen from me a couple times in my life. Nothing big, $10 out of my backpack or my headphones I left at lunch, but nonetheless I don't like stealing or people who steal. Sure, if you actually need money or food and nobody's willing to help you out, maybe, just maybe, but whatever. I felt like a hypocrite and everything. So I tried putting the weed back, but there wasn't really any openings. We left and I kinda just kept it in a tin can. I later smoked it with one of my friends. I wanted to just give it to him but decided not to. After this incident I've decided that if I want something I'll just buy it myself. I just read some of the comments and one big thing is I'm not addicted to weed. I don't have an addictive personality and I haven't smoked in about a month and a half. I'm fairly certain I'd pass a weed test. Another thing was she had like a mason jar halfway filled with it and I didn't take that much at all. I may be stupid but I'm not retarded. And yeah, I'm fairly certain she knew, but I'm too much of a pussy to tell her. I did my best to make it up to her though. I helped her out with cleaning the house and getting rid of all that cotton stuff that fall from the trees during spring. We live in Michigan so we get a ton of it, and other stuff. Weed and alcohol is the only type of drugs I've ever done, and I drink a hella of a lot less than I smoke cause I don't react well when I get drunk. You owe Granny a doobie. Smoke one with Granny. It's okay. You made a mistake but it's a small one and you know it was wrong. To make up for it, bring your grandma some fancy snacks for when she gets the munchies. Probably feels intensely terrible for you at 15. Bro, I swear to God I'd murder someone for that to be the worst thing I've done at 30. Abrisana. Joke's on you, it was potpourri. What did you do with the rest? How much will you put it up for? But on a serious note, we all make mistakes and that's what make us better people, so props to you on handling the situation the way you did. It could've gone way worse. I'd smoke some bud with your grandma. And don't be so harsh on yourself, everyone make mistakes, just learn from it. It's good that you feel guilty, stealing is wrong unless you're stealing from the oppressors to help the oppressed. But I'd also just like to mention that I started smoking when I was 14 and I wish I had waited a bit longer. It really killed my motivation and ambition at the time, and it hurts now to think of all the potential and scholarships I lost because we'd made me even lazier. Your mindset is so innocent, you're sweet. I stole my mom's weed when I was younger and took it to a party, and it was legendary. To this day when I see those guys on Sife's mom's weed always comes up. Live it up, bro. No regrets. This is cute. Go give your granny a peace offering. Unspoken rule of weed pinching, always leave some. You probably barely took enough to notice. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm sure your grandma would smoke you up if you asked. Make her some weed brownies. You're a good person. The fact that you feel so bad about something most people would do without an extra thought shows that. Try not to beat yourself up over this and instead learn from it. Well, how was it? Your grandma would be pleased knowing that you smoked her weed instead of buying stuff off the street from someone potentially dangerous and bud that could potentially be laced. You feel bad about it and learn from it, and I think that's what's important to grandmas, or at least should be. The amount of weed me and my friend stole from both of our families when we were 14 is huge, but as we got older they were very understanding and would rather us have done that than be in dangerous situations. We're both huge stoners still, but we work full-time at 18 and are both very responsible. Moral of the story, just be a good person, and good people make mistakes, just learn from them and better yourself. And I honestly doubt your grandma even cares. Weed is not that expensive depending where you live. And it's better than alcohol. No worries, when I was young I took my old man's beer. He knew. I didn't know he knew. I told him later in life, no biggies man. Kids experiment, etc. Dude, we've all stolen grams from your grams. I agree that you shouldn't steal from your grandma, and even more that you shouldn't smoke at that age, as I know several people who have confirmed to me that smoking at a young age has influenced their brain in a lasting impact. But honestly, with all the shit cut weed out there, once you're 19 or 20 you could just give your granny money or smoke some with her and you'll have clinically tested clean weed plus funny high nights with a loved family member smile. A good person isn't someone who never does bad things. A good person is someone who feels bad when they do bad things. I'm paraphrasing Parks and Rec here, but you get the idea. Don't sweat it too much. Everybody stole something when they were a kid and feels bad about it. Learn from your mistake and grow as a person. And don't steal people's medicine. That's extra whack. Just think of it as learning a very important life lesson. Don't steal people's drugs. If you're 15, then why in your post history do you say you're too poor to pay rent and your car? Pinching someone's weed, I've never really considered stealing, more like it comes with the territory. If my brother or friend took a little to roast one real quick I wouldn't be that mad. More mad I didn't get to hit it than anything. Don't worry about it. Just be sure to not make a bad habit out of smoking underage. Wait until you're older to start doing that shit. Go blaze with her. Aw, chin up. Smoke up, granny, it's okay. Lesson learned. We're all young and a lil dumb at some point. Dude, if it's your grandma and you took a little nug, don't sweat it. Just tell her if it's really tearing you up. I guarantee she won't care. Can you help yourself to food and stuff at her place? Same thing, as long as you're not abusing it. Smoke her out, fam. I don't know if a lot of people that get to smoke with their grandparents, but if I had them around I'd definitely light one up with them. You're a good kid. I especially like the fact that you know that you're young and should wait for a bit before smoking weed. Let your brain develop in order to have good cognitive functions in the future. I started smoking at 20, so I've never had any kind of disparement. Gran can prob spare a few grams, just hook her up with some pizza rolls or something. If grandma smokes weed, she won't mind. Probably knows, we keep an eye on the weed, sweetie. I don't smoke weed anymore, man. You're 15, you'll go to one party, get shit-faced and smoke a blunt with the homies. How was the high? Take her to Canada to make it up to her. Weed is legal here. Although it's only legal for her, you are still too young for it. Pepega. Wait, you were able to open the jar to take some out but couldn't when you tried to put it back? Wanna smoke a blunt, sonny? Hey man, it's weed and you're a teen. If was around years ago, there's be way more confessions like this. No biggie. Live, learn from your mistakes, and when you're older, smoke a gram with your gram. You're a good youngin'. Don't feel too bad, but I'm glad you learned your lesson. I'm 22, but believe me, most of us have been there too. Many of us have a hard time with a fine line between right and wrong. And I don't think grandma will be too mad when you tell her on your 18th birthday. She will most likely chuckle. You're still learning and clearly you're very kind-hearted and intelligent. Keep going in the direction, but yes, you must smoke her up when the time is right. Imagine you smoke it with your granny. I mean, weed is meant to be shared. You would be surprised as how honesty works for some people. I believe in total honesty. Lies get you nowhere, not to mention, polluting your character. I can assure you that if you were to confess to your grandma what you just stated here, she will appreciate your honesty and hug you with the overwhelmed feeling of how great of a grandson she has. Tell her exactly what you said here and tell me the result of it, because I already know. Just trust me on this. Let's see how right I am. You might get a lecture on drugs from her. But you'll be happier that you did this. It's stealing, but of a different variety since it's not something you personally can buy. Don't beat yourself up about it. Most people wouldn't think of snagging a beer or topping off a liquor bottle with water as outright stealing. Maybe that's just me though. I used to pinch from my mom's bag all the time when I was that age. Then when I grew up she did the same to me. Or I'd send her home with a few nugs when she'd stop by. It's family. I understand you feeling guilty for it though. You sound like you've got a good head on your shoulders. Don't let your friends get you in trouble and trust your instincts. That's not a title I expected. The last interaction I ever had with my grandma before she died was her giving me a gram. Cherish this moment, Lamau. Been smoking for 20 years. Started at age 18. Just wait about 4 or 5 years and then smoke if you enjoy it and it doesn't prevent you from accomplishing your short and long-term goals. And don't stress, grandma. Just don't steal again. Just make sure you inject no more than 7 full marijuanas your first time. You sound like a real good kid. Don't beat yourself up about it too much. It was a mistake. The fact that you have remorse on it says a lot about your character. Any other kid at your age wouldn't think twice, unfortunately. Grandma's always forgives her grandchildren. We have too. It's in the grandma handbook. If you are sorry and can't tell her, do something extra for her next time you see her. You're way too young to be getting high and drunk. Bro, this is why you shouldn't go grave robbing SMH. You can't get addicted, be as cool, just curious about drugs, that's it. Don't feel too bad about it. You were 14 and it's hard for many people to say they didn't do something dumb when they were a teen. You'll probably look back on it with your grandma and laugh together about it in a couple years in all honesty, haha. But when you turn 18 you definitely owe her a blunt, Lamau. Don't smoke or drink till you're 18, 21's better but at least 18 mate, because it very seriously fucks up your brain development and will leave you struggling to do things other people find easy. I stole some of my grandma's benzos not that long ago. Pa. If you took a little that wasn't noticeable, that's not a big deal, emo. When I was around your age, I took weed from my friend's dad and smoked it in a soda can. When I got a little older I told him the truth, he laughed and said that was some good shit, was it? Lol. Stop. Confessing. 2. Weed. I smoke it, you smoke it, most people I know smoke it. It's not the end of the world. You didn't rape or kill anyone, I hope. Every time I see something about pot here, all I think about is we stool a balloon. I hope you get the SpongeBob reference. Don't worry. I used to take my little brother's Adderall.